WHGE 95.3 FM coming up. The Open Eye. All right, Sherry, I see. All right, started here.
Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego diddling. We do so because the chains of oppression on our people's minds are deep and difficult to remove.
Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm your host, Third Eye Optometrist, Patrice Gibbs, here to get your third eye open. Yes, indeed, pay attention. Because every generation has its purpose. Ours is to reveal the truth and reverse the brainwashing. All right. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and get my disclaimer out the way. Let's see, here it is. Okay.
The views and opinions expressed on Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM nor our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual.
All right. Here we go. Let's get them started. I'm going to start right here with my man, the late, great Runoko Rashidi. Okay. Let's see something here. We got the volume a little low. Okay. There you go. Okay. In order to understand the plight of African people, you have to understand history. You have to be willing to read and study our history and the history of the world. Our fall did not just happen. It happened over time. If you're not willing to study the past, it is real hard to plot a plan and path for the future. In other words, if you don't know and understand what happened yesterday and the day before, how do you plan for today, tomorrow, and the day after? Of course, you could just sit back and hope for the best. And that is what a lot of us do. And you see the results. It is important for us to study history, sisters and brothers. It is fundamental. All right, Derwin. Welcome to the show there. Okay. All right, moving right along. So that we have an understanding of what we're up against. Because these people had not gone anywhere. Their descendants are here. And they were trained and taught by their descendants. In Mississippi, lynchings weren't done in secret. They were community events. White mobs hung black men from trees while crowds watched, cheered, and took photos. Children were there. Photos were sold as postcards. No arrest, no shame. The next day, the same people sat in church pews like nothing happened. This wasn't justice, it was entertainment. And Mississippi led the nation in lynchings. And what did my girl say? Nina Simone, Mississippi. God damn. Yeah, that's real. Yes, it is. You know, it's something we often talk about when our children leave the home. Something that other races don't have to deal with, specifically the white race. This black teen share the rules his mom makes him follow when leaving the house. Can you imagine that? That you have to make rules for your children when they leave the house? The checklist Cameron Welch recites is extensive, covering everything from how to behave in a store so a shop clerk won't accuse you of stealing, to clothes you shouldn't wear while driving if you don't want to be pulled over by the police. For instance, don't put your hands in your pockets. Don't put your hoodie on. Don't be outside without a shirt on. Check in with your people, even if you're down the street. And you know, that is something that since I was a kid, these things have been more relevant. And it's not that I came from an era that was safer. Check in with your people if you're down the street. That's what made me think of it. Because we would leave the house during summer break. We would leave the house 11 o'clock in the morning. Go to the park where they were giving out free lunch, and we would be going all day until dinner time. And our parents didn't have to worry about it. That's not so now. Don't be out too late. Don't go in the store and touch something you're not buying. Damn. Never leave the store without a receipt or a bag. Of course, they won't give you no bag now. Even if it's just a pack of gum, get a receipt. Never make it look like there's an altercation between you and someone else. Never leave the house without your ID. Don't drive around with a wife beater on. I wouldn't even advise you to wear those. Don't drive with a do-rag on. Don't ride with the music too loud. And don't stare at Caucasian women. 2025, and we still telling you. Don't stare at Caucasian women because they're dangerous. Their tears can get you shot today, 2025. If a cop stops you randomly and starts questioning you, don't talk back. Just compromise. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Stand up for your rights. Don't compromise a goddamn thing. If you ever get pulled over, put your hands on the dashboard and ask if you can get your license and registration out. I agree with that. Because these trigger-happy fools are looking for any reason to shoot you. I have seen cops roll up on a black person in a car, and the first thing out their mouth, gun, gun, he's got a gun, he's resisting, stop resisting. And you sitting there looking confused like, what the hell is he talking? Next thing you know, the cops then surrounded your car and opened fire. Damn. It's something, man. And I tell you what, when these things take place, we have to get together. This, pray and protest and we're telling you right now to stay home. Black people, don't be afraid or ashamed to circle the wagons exclusively for our own cause. Part of that right now is circling the wagons at home, not getting involved in these protests that the mayonnaise mafia is begging you to come out and get into. Don't do it. Don't do it. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Look, where we at here? Oh. All right. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. A quote from Malcolm. I don't favor violence. If we could bring about recognition and respect of our people by peaceful means, well and good. Everybody would like to reach his objectives peacefully. But I'm also a realist. The only people in this country who are being asked to be nonviolent are black people. And that's still so today. Meanwhile, the mayonnaise mafia is out here trying to start a race war. Seeing a white girl on talking about, oh yeah, we got in a race war, you would lose. Seeing another one talking about, you know, the challenge of one gorilla versus 100 men. How about 100 black men versus 100 white men? Don't do it. I'm talking to white people. You will lose. Yeah, I know y'all running off in your militia camps and training and this, that, and the other. You've been watching some of the movies on, what's that, Tubi? Some of the modern day blaxploitation movies. You got people running around holding their guns sideways and this, that, and the other as if we haven't trained. Don't get it mixed. Don't get it mixed. Okay? You hear some of y'all planning on coming into the black community and attacking us. I see these white militias and Proud Boys. Well, they can't call themselves Proud Boys now because the church owns their name. All right? I see them showing up in places in the back of U-Haul trucks with these illegal protests and what have you. Showing the back of U-Haul trucks. But you notice where they go? They don't bring their ass in our community with that crap. All right? Because when someone get brave, and it's usually those that get that alcohol bravery, like that fool in Mississippi that went up in a black bar hollering the N-word and got his ass whooped. Yeah. Come on over here down on the east side. Come over here on the hilltop in Wilmington. With that mess. See if we don't circle the wagons and send your ass back. Some of them. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. All right, this is Patrice Gibbs. There's a gentleman in our history we don't talk about enough. Yeah, okay? This is a black man that gave America emergency communication. And then they erased him from the emergency. A little history here. In 1884, Granville T. Woods, a self-taught black inventor, known as the Black Edison. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Stop calling him the Black Edison. If anything, Edison is the white Granville T. Woods. Okay? Mr. Woods patented the induction telegraph system, a game-changing technology that lets trains communicate with each other while in motion. That single invention helped prevent deadly railroad collisions, and laid the groundwork for modern emergency signaling. But when it came time to give him credit, well, Thomas Edison, the thief, claimed he invented it. Woods had to fight Edison in court, and he won. Still, history books stay silent, because he also invented the electric roller coaster, a better steam boiler, a telephone transmitter, dozens of tech tools still in use today. But as 10 people on the street, how many know his name? You have to wonder, why is America so quick to bury black brilliance? Granville just didn't invent tech. He proved that genius wasn't white. But when your genius threatens a system built on erasure, they don't give you a statue, they give you silence. Granville T. Woods. Look him up. WHGE 95.3 FM. All right. You are on WHGE 95.3 FM, enjoying the Open Eye. But the Open Eye isn't the only show on. All right. Tune in to the Open Eye Saturdays at 3 for the Wilmington Renaissance with host Samantha Ghetto Songbird Hollins. And later on, my main man, Alan Lawrence, reviewing the week with Alan Lawrence. That comes on at 5 today. And of course, our illustrious leader, Harmon Carey, with Black History Facts and Reflections. So stay tuned to WHGE 95.3 FM, as you're also going to hear some great jazz. All right, we're moving right along. All right. Disappointing in Wilmington. All right. Disappointment in Wilmington. Because Wilmington, what's wrong with you? Wilmington renters won't have protection from large annual price hikes. This is from the News Journal by Shane Brennan. The Wilmington City Council failed to pass an ordinance that would have capped annual rent hikes for the majority of rental units at 5%, or the consumer price index of the region, whichever is greater. There are exemptions for first-time rental units and new buildings with a certificate of occupancy for the first 10 years. The original ordinance had a 3% cap. The ordinance was also amended to include an appeals process for landlords and tenants. After the ordinance was defeated, community members who supported the legislation stormed out of the council's chambers. Dozens of protesters left the meeting and began banging on the windows of council chambers, chanting, "Shut it down," outside of its locked doors. The meeting went into recess, and well, it should have. It was up on. Police arrived, but they did not engage with the protesters. Yeah, the vote was 6-5, 1 absent, 1 present. The ordinance was presented by Shanae Darby, all right, who's a council member representing the north side of Wilmington. All right, and like I said, she was the sponsor, and of course, she was disappointed by the result. Yeah, it was just like I said, it was just disappointing. That's right, it was just disappointing, but the fight don't stop here. The voices were heard, and some of the council members had sense enough not to sell out. Those of you that did, you know who you are. You ought to be ashamed of your damn self. And I say that as someone who works for an organization that helps people get housing, specifically veterans. And this should be, this ordinance, rent stabilization should be statewide, not just in the city of Wilmington. And I say that because I know a friend of mine that faces rent increases every year. Every year, this friend of mine faces rent. What's up, Steve? And there are many more like that are in that situation. I know one of our veterans, he had a housing voucher, and our goal is for stabilization. It's for the veteran to live independently, self-sufficiently. So to help them out, we have a thing called HUD-VASH and subsidize the veterans' rent. Do you know what some of these landlords do? As soon as they find out, 1 week had to completely cut them off. As soon as they find out they got that voucher, go up on the rent. Yeah, one of these landlords that basically wanted to charge his tenant for just existing. Greedy bastards. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Hey. All right, this is Patrice Gibbs, your third eye optometrist. Moving right along. It's something that some people actually think the tangerine tyrant is smart. He's not. Remember when he had that meeting in the Oval Office with President Zelensky from the Ukraine? And don't get it mixed. I am no fan of the Ukraine. I did not forget what the Ukraine did when they were first attacked by Russia and people were leaving the country, including the black people that were there. And the Ukrainians wouldn't let them out, wouldn't let them leave. But during the tense Oval Office meeting, darn disaster looked President Zelensky in the eye and told him he didn't have the cards. It was not in a good position. What the tangerine tyrant never realized was that even as he delivered that line, Zelensky was quietly overseeing one of the most daring and effective military operations of the war. Dumbass. For over a year and a half, Ukrainian intelligence meticulously planned a covert drone assault deep inside Russia, targeting strategic airfields and bombers that have been launching devastating attacks on Ukrainian cities. The operation itself was a masterclass in ingenuity and stealth. Ukrainian teams smuggled 117 drones into Russia, hiding them in wooden crates and mobile sheds mounted on trucks. Once inside the country, the drones were reassembled and launched from secret locations near Russian airfields, with operators coordinating the attack across 3 time zones. The mission was directed from an office right next to a Russian security headquarters, and communications were routed through Russian cell networks to avoid detection. The drones would cost a fraction of the price of the aircraft they targeted, inflicting an estimated $7 billion in damages by destroying or severely damaging more than 40 Russian bombers. some of which were valued at over $500 million each. That's each. And they cannot be easily replaced. Yeah. Dumbass Trump was completely blindsided by the strike and had no idea it was coming. Ukrainian officials made a deliberate choice not to share their plans with him, fearing he might tip off his friend Putin and compromise the mission. Ain't no might in that. He'd have did that. So while Trump taunted Zelensky about not having any cards, Zelensky was quietly playing a masterful hand. That is what you call a true poker face. Holding your cards closer, revealing them only when it counts, leaving your opponent stunned and outplayed. Yeah, like I said, I ain't no big fan of Ukraine or Zelensky and what have you, but who doesn't enjoy seeing a fool get his? Because that's pretty much what happened. That fool got his. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's something. I saw one of these MAGA fools who probably has never read the Constitution, as he doesn't want the Constitution changed. That's not what the founding fathers wanted. They didn't want change to the Constitution. They wrote that book. They wrote that, and it was supposed to stand for the test of time with no changes. Dumbass. See, this is what happens to get people who don't know the history. I'm going to get on some more people about that too. Because this fool not only don't know his history, but damn, he really don't know a damn thing. And he probably supports shutting down the Department of Education. And most uneducated fools do. Because what he doesn't know about the Constitution is it has amendments. It has amendments. Amendments mean these things were added to the Constitution. And if he knew anything, he would know that the first 10 amendments that were added to the Constitution is called the Bill of Rights. The First Amendment guarantees freedom of religion, speech, the press, assembly, and the right to petition the government. The Second Amendment protects the right to bear arms. The amendments can be changed. That's why there are amendments. That one needs to be changed. And we could talk about that all day. The Third Amendment prohibits the quartering of soldiers in private homes. And you don't want the National Guard come invading your city and then think they're going to sit up in your living room and look at TV and eat your snacks. The Fourth Amendment protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. And I'll tell you something, the gang in blue hates the Fourth Amendment. Because they think they could just come rummage through your house any goddamn time they want. No, we have Fourth Amendment protection. The Fifth Amendment guarantees due process of law, protects against self-incrimination, and prevents double jeopardy. Due process of law. This is one that the Orange Disaster regime hates, because they're running around snatching people off the street without due process. I've seen cops roll up on people and say, if you don't tell us what's going on, you're impeding our investigation. I'm telling you a damn thing, because I have the Fifth Amendment. The Sixth Amendment guarantees the right to a speedy and public trial, the right to an attorney, and the right to confront witnesses. The Seventh Amendment preserves the right to a jury trial in civil cases. The Eighth Amendment prohibits excessive bail and cruel and unusual punishments. Ooh, That's one we don't pay attention to in America, huh? Because Americans definitely believe in cruel and unusual punishment. And if it's a black person, there's a damn good chance the bail is going to be excessive. The 9th Amendment acknowledges that the enumeration of specific rights in the Constitution does not mean that other rights not listed are not also protected. The 10th Amendment reserves power not delegated to the federal government, to the states, or the people. Yeah, I'm sure the Orange Disaster hates that one as well. And it's so crazy that people don't pay attention. Not only to that, but they don't pay attention at all. There is a anti-intellectualism going on. That's why you can tell these people any damn thing. That's why the USA thinks it's #1 in healthcare. It's 30th. I think that number's a little high. Number 2, it thinks it's it thinks it's #1 in the happiness index. Are you kidding me? You see how many people running around miserable? I'm talking about people with money. I know poor people that are in a better state mentally, emotionally than people with money. That's because money don't change you. It pretty much just enhances the asshole that you already are. America thinks it's #1 in education. Not. It's 26. They want to claim that America is #1 in life expectancy. I don't know how in the hell they reached that. Especially with being 30th in healthcare. And doing everything they can to see to it that people don't get health care. The only industrialized nation where you can go bankrupt trying to pay for your health. Life expectancy, the reality is America is 46th on that list. Oh, we think we have a free press. No, we don't. No, we don't. I think we're #1 with the free press. Yep, we're 42nd. We think our freedom index is #1. The freedom to travel. The freedom to be secure in your person. We're 17th. Okay. And we think we're #1 in climate change performance. Not out of 63 nations, America's 59th. What America really is #1 is in incarceration, gas consumption, oil consumption, military spending, gun violence. And this one, specifically for the Orange Disaster regime, #1 in COVID-19 infections and deaths. #1. You have to wonder how we get here. Because these people are cold-hearted and mean and cruel. And look at these congressmen. They get a $174,000 salary plus, and check this out, $79 a day reimbursement for meals. Meanwhile, SNAP provides $6 a day for poor children, for hungry children. And they want to take that away. There's no excuse for what Republicans are doing. There's no other word for it than cruelty. Every single expert that examined the Republican budget has said that it overwhelmingly benefits the most wealthy Americans. This is their plan. They want an oligarchy. They want to destroy the middle class and rule over the poor with an iron fist. You're nothing to them. Don't get that mix. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. All right. I'm Patrice Gibbs. Your third eye optometrist here. I saw this professor on Piers Morgan break it down. Unfortunately, I didn't get his name. I hate it when they won't give up the name, but that's okay. And this is going to give you some of what he had to say. In contemporary American discourse, the relentless pursuit of innovation and the accumulation of vast wealth are frequently presented as the paramount achievements of our society. Yet, this celebration often overshadows a critical ethical dilemma: the alarming tendency to allow financial success and technological prowess to excuse or even obfuscate profound moral depravity. As an American, particularly as a black person, this was from a sister. I find this societal prioritization deeply unsettling. It is a fundamental misinterpretation of prosperity, which at its core should empower us to protect the most vulnerable among us. The societal cost of misplaced priorities. This dangerous conflation of innovation with ethical license is evident in policy decisions that directly undermine human well-being. Consider the implications of cutting aid to HIV-positive mothers, debating essential benefits for veterans, or reducing, as I said earlier, SNAP payments. Programs that have demonstrably yielded positive net returns by preventing food insecurity. These choices illustrate a concerning national inclination to prioritize physical expediency over the fundamental responsibility to ensure a baseline of dignity and support for our citizens. Such actions aren't merely economic adjustments, they're moral failings disguised as pragmatism. It's nothing pragmatic. Okay? The societal worship of wealth is perhaps most starkly illustrated by the widespread adulation of figures whose technological achievements appear to grant them immunity from ethical scrutiny. I find myself disquieted by the pervasive admiration for individuals like Elon Musk, particularly when juxtaposed against verifiable reports of abhorrent personal conduct. What's that mean? He's a son of a bitch. When the individual is publicly associated with egregious acts such as making Nazi salutes, is concurrently embroiled in legal disputes alleging parental neglect for lack of engagement with their child, and so he should be the face of deadbeat dads, or exhibits signs of severe substance abuse during public appearances. He ride out in public, high as a kite. It demands a critical reevaluation of the role models we elevate. Such behavior, particularly from someone wielding immense global clarity, and any minor grammatical tweaks once you have the full text. Our influence should be excused, should not be excused by financial success or technological prowess. It is a profound ethical breach that our society too often tolerates. Redefining prosperity and responsibility. The core tenet of true prosperity, which I strive to instill in my own sons, is that its ultimate purpose is to protect. It's the capacity to leverage one's influence and resources, not merely for personal gain or grand technological spectacle, but for the betterment of humanity. This ethos stands in stark contrast to the actions of those who accrue billions yet contribute little to the collective good. Unlike philanthropists who dedicate their wealth to combating global disease or fostering environmental sustainability. The failure to deploy immense power for humanitarian benefit while simultaneously exhibiting moral comprehensible conduct presents a profound betrayal of the very ideals of innovation and societal leadership. The true legacy and call to action. We must collectively reevaluate the metrics by which we define greatness and success. If we continue to allow technological marvels to blind us to moral depravity, the legacy of such individuals won't be one of groundbreaking invention or progress in space exploration. Instead, it risks being etched in the annals of unnecessary death, preventable disease, and profound disability among the world's most vulnerable populations. This isn't the essence of true innovation, it's the spirit of American ideals. It's certainly not the measure of a man. Our collective future hinges on recognizing that genuine leadership and progress are inextricably linked to an unwavering commitment to ethical conduct and the protection of all. To whom much is given, much is expected. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs, your third eye optometrist here. Well, we saw something interesting this week, and AOC, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I like the way she put it. The girls are fighting. Yeah, Trump and Musk are having a feud, and it's a really public and nasty feud. It's garnered jokes and reactions. Oh yeah, on television and social media. Now, while Democrats say they are hardly surprised by the crash and burn of Trump's bromance with Musk, they make clear nobody wins when the world's most powerful man and the world's richest man are feuding. I don't agree with that. I think this is a good thing that these two are feuding. Because what they're doing is they keep telling each other secrets. Oh yeah. Trump, he talking about, you know what? Maybe the thing to do, we could save some money if we cut off Muskrat's contracts. And Muskrat coming out against the big beautiful bill. And he telling on him. Because the elongated Muskrat got up and said, well, the orange disaster wouldn't have won Pennsylvania without him. He wouldn't have won the Senate without him. What did elongated Muskrat do that ensured Trump won Pennsylvania and that the Senate was evenly split? See, because he had access to the voting technology. Yeah, keep running off at the mouth. Democrats, you got to pay attention here. Let them keep. Matter of fact, y'all, you know what you should do? You should do the stuff that the FBI did to black organizations like the Black Panthers and the Nation of Islam. Y'all should start sending letters to Elon Musk and say it was from Trump. And say the dirtiest crap you could think of. Get them all upset because they're going to keep running off at the mouth. Damn, Democrats, y'all got to learn how to play dirty. You got to be ruthless in your support of our cause. I'm talking to y'all that didn't take the money. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. That's how much I really give a damn about that. Yeah. Hey, I got to ask y'all something. Because I'm sure anybody that knows me know that I don't particularly like conspiracy theories. I hate false information. Do you believe that the earth ain't flat and the sun do move? Do you believe that? Do you believe that they faked the trip to the moon? I have so many people say that, and so many black people say that. And it makes me mad when black people say it, because it was black women that had the mathematical understanding to make the moonshot possible. Do you think that you're actually a pretendian? Meaning you're pretending to be indigenous of the Native American race? The hell with y'all. The hell with y'all with your. I like the way this one brother says, you done lost your African mind. Yeah. One of the myths that I've debunked several times is that this guy named John Hanson was the first black president. And people online showing photos of the first black president before George. Where the hell did you get a photo before the camera was invented in 1840? It's a dumbass. And now we got this idiot. Hate calling her sister, this young black woman, then got on TikTok and social media telling people Harriet Tubman wasn't real. You know, there's a rule they kind of crap I could ignore, but then I looked at the comment section. And you got idiots on there saying, oh yeah, teach, sister, teach. She ain't teaching. And her reasoning for saying that, and she said because Harriet Tubman changed her name. Her name was Araminta Ross, and she changed it to Harriet Tubman. And I see some people said that, you know, Harriet Tubman changed her name after slavery. I mean, after escaping slavery, because slave masters were looking for her. But that's not what actually happened. Harriet Tubman married a man named Tubman. I think it was John Tubman. And she took one of her ancestors' names, Harriet. And that's why she's named Harriet Tubman. Well, this Araminta Ross, she was a spy for the U.S. government. And she was on the Underground Railroad, hitting children and selling black people back into slavery when they got north. It's a goddamn lie. Yes, she was a spy. At the time, there were two Americas. There was the Confederate America, which succeeded from the Union. There was the Union America, which was trying to get the country back together under Abraham Lincoln. She was a spy for the Union Army. She led a raid that freed 70 black people in one shot. It might have been 700. I'm going to have to look that up to make sure. And damn, I get sick and tired of you morons getting on there with that false information. And then, what was the girl's name? See if I got it in my notes. Nah, I don't think I do. But, you know, seeing the rise of all the blatant untruths that these fools put out there. Yeah, it was John Tubman that she married. All right? And let us not forget that Harriet Tubman took multiple trips to slave lands to help free others. Now, she didn't invent the Underground Railroad, but she was one of their most significant conductors. I even heard some dumbass say, well, how did they get a railroad underground? You ever heard of underground music? Would you think they had a studio underground? You ever heard underground actions? That means they did it in secret, you moron. Dumbass. This anti-intellectualism, letting that seep over from MAGA into our people. Actually saying that she wasn't real, that Harriet Tubman wasn't real. How dare you disrespect our elders like that? It's sickening. You know, it's bad enough we have these anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts to keep us from knowing our history. And you got fools like this running around spouting these conspiracy theories and actually telling people that Harriet Tubman didn't exist. And the pushback against her was strong. I was so happy to see that. Because you had some of our people that were getting on there and they asked, are you effing stupid? Effing idiot? That's the conspiracy theory that you want to latch onto? Harriet Tubman's not real? It's ridiculous. Oh, and then this hussy came out with a half-ass apology. And the thing that she did was, she said she was sorry the way she said it. She didn't say she was sorry for what she said. Pull her black card as soon as you run into her sorry ass. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs, third eye optometrist. Okay. You know, it's something that the mission of the orange disaster regime, and they are being successful at it. Their mission is to pull down American society. Oh yeah, you don't think so? Are you Nero? Are you watching Rome burn? Listen to this. Rome is burning. The empire falls. Rome is burning. The corrupt columns of your capital crumble. Your pillars of power pulverize into powder. Your democracy was held up by demonry. Your economy enriched by enslavement. Your face and features fueled by a facade. You guided the gullible to see you as gods. Rome is burning. Your mask melted. Your disguises divulged. Your perverted politicians paraded. Your pedophile priests publicized. Your replicated revisions revealed. Your civilization was never civil. It was built on dominion and distraction. We see your gladiators in games, no longer confined to coliseums. Your oppression is out in the open. The previously programmed people now fight freely and fiercely. Rome is burning. The blaze warms my cold existence. The glow of fire illuminates the truth. I dance among the flames. Death surrounds me. I call to my ancestors who know it well. All around it looks like hell. But inside I feel heaven. I feel the scales evening. A fall in the making. After the end, a new world will begin. Far in the future, finally, we will win. Now is not a time of fear. Now is a time of learning. As empires fall and Rome is burning. Yeah. That's from Sister Rhonda Sekhmet Ra. Poetess Rhonda Sekhmet Ra. Check her out. Look her up. And get her books. Great book. The Awakening Anthologies. Collection of her greatest poems. And believe me, they're great. All right. Oh, don't think I left out Africa. Oh, no. Listen, let me talk to you, Africa. Let me talk to you. Zambia, why is gas $1.16 a gallon, but only 32 cents in Angola, when they literally share a border? See, Angola produces 1.2 million barrels of oil daily. Exports most of it and still keeps prices low. Meanwhile, Zambia imports fuel from 7,000 kilometers away, spending billions unnecessarily. So why isn't Zambia buying from its neighbor? See, this isn't about fuel. It's about Africa's failure to trade with itself. This is the price of poverty. Open your borders. Pay attention to your brother over in Burkina Faso. You may want to call him a dictator. leader of a revolution. And this is something I heard. I haven't been able to confirm this yet. But from what I understand, in a surprising and bold statement for military leaders in Africa, Burkina Faso's Captain Ibrahim Touré has made it clear. He said, I won't hold on to power. If I lose the elections in 2026, I will step down without a fuss. My goal is to serve the people, not to rule indefinitely. He is committed to ensuring that the elections are free, fair, and transparent, promising to honor the will of the people regardless of the results. This is the kind of leadership Africa has been praying for. Can you imagine if other leaders had this mindset? Okay? And I'm very comfortable with him doing that, as much as he is needed in that leadership position, because his people have caught on and they admire him for what he has done, and I have no doubt that he will be reelected. This from another sister who called for unity and truth in Africa. This is what she said. To my people of Congo, oh, she's Congolese, Africa, and the black race around the world, a transformative awakening is unfolding across parts of Africa and throughout black nations. We are rising. And with time and unity, this awakening will spread across the entire continent and beyond. One clear path to this awakening is through education, through truth, and through sharing the right information. For too long, we've been dormant and divided around external narratives, and even some internal ones that dictate our lives. There have been concerted efforts to keep us blind, brainwashed, miseducated, poor, divided, and at war with each other. But today, we are witnessing something powerful. An African leader is standing up, challenging corruption, defying systems built to serve a few at the expense of many. I recently read The Slave Ship by Marcus Rediker, which chronicles the theft, torture, kidnapping, killings, rape, violence, and enslavement of millions of Africans over 4 centuries. Estimates suggest 12 million Africans were forcibly brought to the New World, with some sources indicating closer to 30 million. Tragically, 5 million lives were lost during the harrowing Middle Passage. By the time slavery was abolished, 3.3 million Africans were still toiling on plantations for American, British, Danish, Dutch, French, Portuguese, and Spanish enslavers. By 1800, the slave-based economy had generated the equivalent of $3.3 billion in 2007 value. And yet, we were called lazy and unfit to govern ourselves. When our people could no longer be stolen, they turned to our land. They gathered in what became known as the Scramble for Africa, dividing our continent and dominating 90% of it, often with brutal violence. Belgium's colonization of Congo, for example, led to an estimated 10 million Congolese perishing. Yet Hitler, instead of Leopold, is called the most evil man that ever lived. Later, Congo endured what is often called Africa's World War, with an estimated 5 million more lives lost. All of this was for our natural resources: diamonds, sugar, salt, gold, iron, cobalt, uranium. copper, oxide, silver, petroleum, natural gas, cocoa beans. Resources that powers the industries and technologies of the day. Even after colonialism, they found new ways to loot, pitting African nations against each other. Just as they once pitted African chiefs against each other in exchange for human cargo, guns, and lies. The president of France recently remarked on Africa's development, saying if we leave African countries to manage their own, now is not the time. Africa remains the least developed continent, and history shows we have a role to play in supporting this growth. Whose history? Africa is underdeveloped because it was undeveloped on purpose by the colonizer. Get the hell out of here. He goes on to say a complete withdrawal could halt progress. No, a complete withdrawal will spur progress. There is still much work for us to do in Africa, and we believe they are now fully ready to thrive. Excuse me, let me go say that again. There is still much work for us to do in Africa, and we believe they are now fully ready to thrive with our involvement. BS. The truth is setting the African free. At the forefront of this new revolution is Captain Ibrahim Touré, forging a new path of revolutionary leadership. Let us remain vigilant. Let us question the deals being made. Let us ask who truly benefits. Let us unite behind this new era. Let us hold accountable those who seek to destabilize our nations. Homeland or death gives a new meaning to we shall overcome. Yes. A new meaning. Africans across the diaspora, in the Caribbean, in South America, in Europe, and on the African continent itself, are actually looking to the African in America to illuminate the path out of the abyss of oppression. That's why she also addresses that message to us. Because when we have a strong, independent Africa, okay, the African in America will be a lot safer. Because the negotiations will change. And the Africa on the motherland will be able to turn to those that want to oppress us and say, we are cutting off your diamonds, your oil, your cocoa. We're cutting that all off until you do right by our African brother that is in your land. Like I always tell you, global African supremacy. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. All right. Thanks for joining us on The Open Eye. I hope you learned something, because I learned something before I got here. Pay attention. Don't let nobody fool you. Keep your eyes open. And remember, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority who treat you as an option. This has been The Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs. Thanks for joining me. All right. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the show. When I upload it to YouTube, share it. Share it. Let other people hear this message. Global Africa supremacy is coming. It's here.